Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Every time I open up, joy is what I see.
Reveal the love.
Reveal the love in me.
Thank you, Sunny Daye. Jim Bianchi and Cole Miller, thank you so much. Knowing that it is the breath of love that is revealing itself through your song, and it's so appreciated, and it sets the tone for this evening. In this precious moment, just feel the heartbeat of the divine within you. For the heart of the universe is at the very center of every living soul. We have come here to affirm our oneness, our wholeness, knowing that we embody every quality, every aspect of the God seed, the presence, the power, the awakening of who we are as love. We have all experienced here in the revealing service the voice of God has spoken to us. The hand of God has reached out to us. The presence has reminded us of our compassion, our kindness, our wholeness, our health, prosperity. For it is the peace, the indwelling presence that is infinite, unfolding supply, and unconditional love. I know this evening and every evening of the revealing service is inspired by love, for love sees itself in all things. And Reverend Sunshine is that reflection of universal love. It is the gift of grace flowing through her messages, touching us deeply, opening our hearts and our minds. For it is the merging of the mind and the heart that brings us together, feeling our wholeness. So in this place of deep, deep gratitude, my heart is broken wide open. Now I give thanks for Sunny Daye and Reverend Sunshine Daye, for all their love and devotion and dedication to this revealing service, supporting our spiritual practice on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, as we take it home with us and we share it out into the world. So within the passion of unlimited possibilities, I know that Sunny and Sunshine, that they fulfill God's plan. And it is that divine idea moving into and as their life, creating a bigger and greater and wider vision. So knowing that this is the blessing and having faith that our spiritual practice continues to unfold and expand and express itself in many new and different ways as we move into the 2015. So it is in deep gratitude for the ones that have gone before, that have paved the way, that have created the possibility of new ways of seeing, feeling, and taking action in this world. For it is our humanity waking up, and how good it is. And so it is. So my name is Kay Samuelson. And the book Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker, it fell off the shelf, and so this is the one that I'm going to use for this evening for my reading. And it's a 365-day meditations. Each day is a different meditation, so I'm just going to read the December 10th meditation. The unlimited action of the Spirit works through me, and even I cannot hinder it. The divine processes cannot be altered nor confused by me. The omnipotence of God cannot be stopped by my will. Its action can be directed, but its flow will never cease. I now direct it into constructive channels that bless and benefit me and my fellow man. All that God is happens as me. I now assume my rightful place in the divine order of life and let power move through me into a beneficent way in action. I am never a handicap to God. Nothing in me can impede the perfect mind. Divine ideas use me as a clear outlet for their completion. Heaven is happening to me at every moment, every instant. I am a center in infinite mind and the love of God. Every time I am confused or hurt, I prevent the action of good in my life. Knowing this, I resolve today to cease from all such futile actions on my part. God needs me and wants me to be its creative expression, and this I am. Every positive idea finds acceptance and clearance in my thinking. Every desire to love and to be loved finds a response in my soul. The allness of truth finds me and uses me for its perfect ends. The windows of my mind are open wide to the divine influx of inspiration. The doors of my subconscious are ajar to let the divine patterns which make me whole a whole person. I accept my heaven. The stars at night shine upon the just and the unjust. The eternal goodness of the creative process offers itself to me without judgment. My past is not its concern. My present alone is sought by the divine wisdom and the divine action. Today, it wants me to be like itself. This challenge I accept. I agree to let God be in me what its intelligence wants to be. I know that this will make me a greater person, a finer instrument for goodness, and a wider avenue of love. I place nothing in the path of the eternal. I fear no evil, for God is with me and God is what I am. All doors are open, all ideas are coming to me. Today I live with truth and the future is secure. I am open and receptive to the divine inflow. And so it is. And so the title for this evening is Always Enough. And so let us welcome Sunshine Daye.
Thank you so much, beloved Kay. You had me in a zone there. I was in the zone. I was like, ooh, I don't have to do a service tonight. I'm in the zone. Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday and happy birthday, Rose. Today's Rose's birthday. I wanted to chat with y'all today about this idea that there's always enough. And I don't want you to go, yeah, there's always enough trouble, enough strife. Not enough in that way, but enough in the aspects that when we recognize the one power, the one presence, the one life that has created everything out of itself, there is no such thing as lack or limitation, but that there is indeed always enough, that the supply and the opportunities are limitless, that there are endless possibilities. What matters is whether we accept that this is the truth for and about us, or whether we decide that we want to live with this limited idea, with this lack and limitation, if we want to live with doubt and fear, blame and shame. I'll put it to you this way. There were these two neighbors. They're farmers. And you might have heard this one before. One farmer was a positive farmer. He always saw the bright side of things. He always recognized the givingness of life. And of course, his neighbor was the negative farmer. He was the one who was just kind of like, whatever happened, there was something wrong with it. So, of course, when it rained, the positive farmer would say, "Why, thank you, life. So glad for the rain. It's going to water the crops. It's going to give the crops everything that they need." The negative farmer was like, "Daggone this rain. It's just going to cause a lot of flooding, and it's just going to ruin everything." And of course, when the sun would shine brightly, the positive farmer was grateful to life and grateful to the sun, because the sun was going to provide all of the plants, the nutrients, and everything that it was necessary from the sun, so that these plants, this vegetation, can grow and can be rich. And of course, the negative farmer would be like, "Oh my gosh, this sun is so scorching hot, it's just going to scorch all the plants. It's just going to scorch all the food. It's just not going to be good." So the two farmers, they go out duck hunting because, they're neighbors, they're friends. And the positive farmer takes his dog with him, kind of like we bring Mello with us, right? And they're going out duck hunting, and they're on the boat, and sure enough, the positive farmer gets a duck, and the duck falls into the water, and he sends his dog out to get it. And the dog walks on the water, grabs the duck, comes back, hops in the boat, voila, there's the duck. And of course, the negative farmer says, "Dang, what's the matter? Your dog don't even know how to swim?" It's all on the perspective that we have and that we take upon life. Whether the situation is going to be one of that there's always enough, or whether this is good, or whether there's not enough, whether there's lack and limitation. But it is always up to me. It is always up to each of us to recognize the eternal givingness of life. God is not a God of withhold. I think about this lots when I think about that term, that God is not a God of withhold. I remember growing up when my parents were in conflict with one another, aka when they would have an argument. They would stop speaking to one another. They would withhold conversation. You ever do that with somebody, giving them the silent treatment? You think you're giving them something, but you're giving them the silent treatment, so it's technically withholding who you are. But I remember that in that exchange, if there was a party happening at our home, the minute the first guest would come and knock on the door, boom, 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 they would start talking to one another as if everything was fine. And they'd be kind to one another and nice to one another. And as soon as that last person left, back to the silent treatment. But see, life is not about withholding from one another. God, the energetic, the life essence that is everywhere present in its fullest, is not about withholding. Oh, you didn't meditate this morning. I'm going to withhold air. Oh, you didn't pray today. I'm going to withhold water. Oh, you weren't nice to that lady on the freeway. I'm going to withhold shelter or love or peace. God is not a God of withhold. It is always available. All of life is always available. And even though our topic tonight is really centered around money or around finances or around infinite supply, it really relates to all of life and all of the blessings of life and each and every aspect that we think we're experiencing lack, or we are limiting ourselves, or limiting how far we can get in life. The truth is that right where we are is that infinite potential, that infinite God, that power, that presence. And should we choose to tap into that power and presence within each of us, that which animates our bodies, that which keeps our hearts going without you even thinking about it. Like, how many of you have been sitting there going, remember to beat the heart? Dun, 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 dun. No. It's just happening. It just is. None of us have to remind our lungs how to inflate and deflate and how to take in the air and release the carbon dioxide. None of us have to tell our capillaries how to work or our immune system how to work. But there is a belief that somehow there's not enough, or somehow I am not worthy of. Having that which is necessary to live a fulfilling and rich and beautiful life. Now, when I say rich, I mean financial, but I also mean rich with love, rich with friendship, rich with relationships and meaningful experiences. That kind of richness. Or I also mean like rich foods, like creamy goodness, or yummy desserts like you'll be engaging in over the holidays. Rich, that there's always enough. Ernest Holmes, in the reading that we had for today, as we've been going through the year of getting all booked up and reading the Science of Mind book, he says on page 262, it's under the topic supply. God is spirit, spirit is substance, and substance is supply. So God is already supplied. Our supply, we are already it. We just need to accept that that's who and what we are, and accept that it is around us. It is only us that withholds from us. It is through our thinking that we withhold, or that we limit and block ourselves from the limitless supply that there is. This is the keystone to a realization of the more abundant life, to the demonstration of success in financial matters. It is right that we should be successful, for otherwise the spirit is not expressed. So in other words, Ernest Holmes is saying, I can tell by looking at you, or by having a conversation with you, or by, excuse me, by being in your presence, the size and the kind of God you have and you believe in. Whoa. What would you call the God that you believe in if you were to look at your own life right now? If you were to just take a moment to be introspective and go, well, gosh, in this area, my God got it going on. Yes, living large. But maybe in this area, maybe not so much. Maybe in love, it's like, yeah, big, big. Maybe in finances, maybe in some areas we have a bigger idea or a bigger acceptance of our limitless supply than in other areas. And it's not that we're looking so that we can negatively judge ourselves like the farmer, but that we're looking so that we might say, wow, I mean, I thought that this is what I believed, but yet the manifestation, the outpicturing, does not necessarily match what I say I believe. And don't worry about it, because, you know, the thing is that sometimes I might say something, but my walk hasn't caught up with my talk yet. But I'm headed in the right direction, if you know what I mean. It's not like I am outright bold-faced lying and going, I believe this and this, but my outpicturing is this. But as I begin to learn the philosophy, the science of mind, as I begin to learn the nature of life, as I begin to recognize my oneness in all, I'm beginning to at least, I'm thinking about it, I'm having those thoughts, I'm reading it from the book, I'm trying to have the lingo and talk about it in ways with other spiritual people who are on the path, and I will speak it, but my walk or the manifestation has not yet demonstrated itself so that my talk is matching my walk and it's matching how my life is outpicturing. Does that make sense? But it's no excuse to stop. It's no excuse to abort the road that we're traveling. It's no excuse to just kind of say it hasn't caught up yet. But indeed, it is about to catch up for us. See, everything that we do should be a success. And we should be led to do those things which are constructive and worthwhile. To bring a realization of the presence of Spirit into all our acts is to prove that God is all, even in the slightest things that we undertake. So he makes some quotes in today's reading that I'm going to strongly suggest that we take on as our affirmation, as something that we repeat to ourselves, as something that we continuously begin to entertain, especially as we're closing out 2014 and going into a new year. He says here, I am surrounded by pure spirit. See, because the more and more I remember and recognize that this is my truth, the more I can live from a place of freedom and love. Like, if I get into a situation where all of a sudden I'm looking around, it's kind of, unfamiliar territory, and my MO is to get into fear or to doubt or to like, I don't know about this place or this neighborhood or these people because I don't know, what I get to remember, like the next thing that should pop into my head is, I am surrounded by pure spirit. I'm surrounded by pure spirit, by God, the living spirit. My thought is God's thought. And it is the law unto the things that are unspoken. Everything that I do shall be a success. You get a new job. You get in a new relationship. You move to a new area. Everything that I do shall be a success. You graduate from one class to another class. You're moving from one position to another position. You get a temp job and you need a full-time job, or you looking for another source of income or revenue stream. You just simply remember and remind yourself, I'm surrounded by pure spirit, and everything I do shall be a success. I'm led and guided and inspired by the living spirit of love into the right action. I am compelled to move into the right direction. I'm still enough. I'm alert. I'm aware enough. I listen internally for that divine guidance in that direction. You see, when we engage in a daily spiritual practice, when we engage in prayer and meditation, when we take the time to simply be and recognize our oneness with all of life, this suggestion comes naturally whenever we're in situations that might baffle us, whenever we are in situations that might seem like unfamiliar territory. When we're doing our spiritual work, this stuff kicks in. It kicks in because the minute there's any doubt or fear or ideas of lack or limitation coming up, the deal is that if we've been doing our spiritual practice, if we've been being in the silence and the stillness and recognizing our oneness and our wholeness, recognizing that God created everything out of itself, therefore my life is the way that God is expressing, then when we get in those situations, we go, oh yeah, this is the truth of who I am. I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to fall into lack and limitation. I don't need to have doubt or fear. You see, it's in those times, kind of like biblically speaking, what's that? Is it the Psalms? Thou providest a table before me in the midst of my enemies. I mean, it's like fully prepared, but it goes on to say, surely though I walk through the valley of the shadow. Wait a minute, weren't we at a banquet table? Wasn't everything set up nicely? What happened? How did I get to the valley of the shadow? Like, whoa. And that's because that's how life happens sometimes. But it says, surely though I walk through the valley of the shadow, that I shall fear no evil. So even when we have this laid out before us, even when things are going wonderfully, and then all of a sudden wow, everything's going great. How did I get here? Oh, even though I'm here, I shall fear no evil. For I know that the Spirit of God surrounds me. I know that I will be successful. I know that my life is the beautiful, magnificent way that God is showing up on this planet. I remember that in those times, that it's like a recipe that is not fully done. We might be putting some of this and some of that. And in the beginning, you might put something in it, and it tastes really good. And then you start adding some other things, and you taste it, and it's like, oh, wait, what happened? It was good just a moment ago, but now that these other ingredients are in there, it doesn't taste all that great. But it's not over. The recipe is still not complete. There's still the process. It's kind of like being half-baked, It doesn't taste all that good. But do not worry, do not fear. There's always enough. There's always enough. And it brings me to this, to our time here at the Revealing Experience, that there's always enough. that though Sonny and I are opening up to new possibilities, and as the revealing experience comes to its culmination next week, there's always enough. There's always enough. There's always that which we need, because either we're believing that there is the divine right action of God, or we don't. And we get to trust that though things have changed, though the people and the players may be different, that it doesn't stop the flow of life in providing us enough. Always. That endless flow that Kay was reading about in the daily reading out of that 365-day book. That there's always an endless flow. That our love, that our joy, that our peace, that our presence is not contingent upon everything that we think needs to be in the right position and having control, and everything needs to be accounted for and present. But that even if there are folks missing, that there is enough. That as we navigate through life, that we recognize too that who we are is enough, and that who we are matters, and it makes a difference. That each and every life matters, because each and every life is God. I have had the most fabulous time being your minister on Wednesday nights, and the growth and unfoldment that you have provided for me as the gift for my ministry, and as I move and navigate through life, is amazing, is unrepeatable, and the hugest gift that I could ever receive from any group of people. And that I got to do it here with you is kind of like a double bonus. Because you don't know me, right? I just kind of showed up on a Wednesday night. And so did you. And now we're in love. And breaking up's hard to do. But I want to end with this part of today's reading, which seems so appropriate. And it speaks to the depth of knowing our truth. And I think that as it resonates for me, that it also may resonate for you in some aspect or area of your life. And it's right on page 264. And Ernest Holmes says, "There is that in me which all people recognize as worthwhile and desirable. And everyone whom I meet loves this self of mine and recognizes its worth. I draw all toward me, and those whom I can benefit and those who can benefit me are irresistibly drawn toward me. I do not strain, will, or coerce. I know. The truth makes me free from the fear of poverty or bondage and emancipates me from the thought of limitation. The opportunity for self-expression and compensation is always open to me, and I am at all times compelled to know, accept, and operate upon this opportunity. I have abundance because I am abundance. All that the Father has is mine." And when we get to that place of our being where we recognize this divine flow, recognize that as we are in the world being of service to folks, that those folks that need to be in our face, in our presence, that those folks that are there to serve us, those folks that we are there to have an exchange with, that they will be there and accounted for. Tick, tick, present, present, click, accounted for. Check, check, check. Because we stay in alignment with the truth of who we are. And we are obedient to the opportunity that is given. And because as we engage in our spiritual practice, that we recognize that there's no need to fear, that there's no need to buy into this idea of lack and limitation and doom and gloom, but instead that we can actually stand in a place of emancipation, that place that Ernest Holmes talks about, that place that's on the back of our bulletins on every week. That we believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that everyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. That's who we are, each of us, individually and collectively. And as we engage and as we stay steady in our spiritual practice, we will be lifted higher and higher. We will soar. We will recognize that there's always enough. We will recognize, like Ernest Holmes predicted, that he believes that one day we will have freedom from all discord. Freedom from fear, freedom from doubt, freedom from pain that is inflicted upon one another. Freedom from this idea that our life is separate from the life of God. And so let's take that into our quiet time, our time in the stillness, our time in the silence. Let's just take a moment and a few moments to be with that truth. Because what we know is that in the stillness is where we find the truth. When we allow that still small voice to speak to us in a language that we understand, we allow the fear to dissipate. We allow the ideas of lack and limitation to simply fall by the wayside. So in our time in the silence, we simply know, I am surrounded by right action. I am filled with the consciousness of right action. I always have an abundance of whatever it is that it takes to make me happy.
I have everything I need.
There's always enough. That's just the nature of life. Infinite potential, eternal life. As I'm reminded of a beach and the innumerable number of grains of sand on that beach, I recognize that the abundance of God is even more than that. Or as I look at a field, there's no way that I can count the blades of grass that shoot up from the earth, simply expressing the abundance of life. I'm surrounded by Spirit. I allow Spirit to guide me. I remember, though I may walk through the valley of the shadow of death, that there is no evil. That there is only love. That there's only peace. That there's only joy. That there's only abundance. And that to the degree in which I accept this, I experience it. So the call for us, as this beautiful, beloved seaside community, our call right now is to see the abundance of peace in our own mind, that it might manifest in the outer world. That we recognize that the unrest in different parts of the world, and even here in the US of A, that it is simply a call for us to move into being the spiritual activists and to begin to see peace in our own mind, that we begin to entertain peace in our own heart, that we begin to entertain a world of peace. That then, as we open our eyes and look out into the world, that it is made manifest. It is incumbent upon us to see love, to see with our mind's eye a world loving one another, caring for one another, embracing one another. A brotherhood and a sisterhood of humanity, that we recognize our wholeness. And as we begin to simply sit and be in the silence with these thoughts, and as we make them part of our consciousness, as we recognize that not only are we surrounded by Spirit, but all are surrounded by Spirit, as we awaken to this truth ourselves, it is made manifest in the body of God, in the world. See yourselves as the beautiful, spiritual, emancipated greatness that you are. Feel it in your bones. Recognize your oneness with this power and this presence that has created everything out of itself. Recognize that you are it. You are one with it. It is the way that life is expressing it. It is expressing as you. Therefore, you have that opportunity now to co-create, to manifest a different reality for yourself, to see it in your mind's eye, and to have it be your physical experience. So I give thanks for moments like this, where we anchor that truth, where we see our friends experiencing illness in the body, where we see them as whole. And we recognize their wholeness, that right where they are, God is. And if we're holding anyone in prayer right now, knowing that we've been held in prayer, simply know that right where they are, the beloved energy of the one power, one presence, and one life is there, is everywhere, in its fullness at all times. So, we rejoice that we know this truth and that we live from this place, and together we all say, and so it is. Amen. Amen. How powerful we are together as a community, and how rich we are indeed. I'd like to invite our ushers forth at this time. Melissa and Dennis, thank you so much for your loving service. And the invitation to you is to simply open your generous hearts, and that which you've brought to share with this spiritual community, that as you prepare your gifts and your tithes and your offerings, that you become very, very present with how much has been given to you, and present with now that you're simply taking a portion of that and you're sharing it with this spiritual community. And as you hold your gifts, your tithes, your offerings, that which you brought to share with this spiritual community, as you hold it to your heart, become grateful that more is already on the way. More than you could ever give is already blessing you, that you are surrounded by Spirit, that you are abundance itself, and that you open up now to receiving more so that you might also give more and participate in the reciprocal nature of life, in the flow of life. So with a grateful heart, bless your gift as it goes in the basket, and open up, please, and receive the beautiful music of Sunny Daye, Jim Bianchi, and Cole Miller. Ushers, go forth and multiply this consciousness.
God's love, it keeps lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up. Quench my desire. And I'll be at your side forever and ever and evermore. Ooh, ooh, keeps on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher. You know God's love keeps lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. I said God's love
keeps lifting me,
keeps on lifting me,
keeps on lifting me
higher,
higher.
higher and higher. I said God's
God's
love
love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me,
keeps on lifting me higher and higher. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher, higher. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher. Now once I was downhearted, disappointment was my closest friend. But then you came and it soon departed, yeah, and it's never shown its face again. No, no. I said God's love
Keeps lifting me,
keeps on lifting me
keeps on lifting me
higher,
higher.
higher and higher. God's love
Keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting
it
me,
keeps on lifting me higher and higher. Yeah, yeah. You know y'all can get up, don't you? Come on. Get on your feet. Oh yeah, clap those hands. You know God's
God's
love
love keeps lifting me,
keeps on lifting me
keeps on lifting me,
higher,
lifting me
higher and higher.
higher.
Say God's
Your
love
love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me,
keeps on lifting me higher and higher.
higher.
God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher, higher. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher, high. Let me hear y'all. Here we go.
God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me,
Lifting me higher and higher, higher. God's love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher, higher.
Beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
And I mean
beautiful.
that.
Sunny Day,
Thank
Jim
you for
Bianchi,
singing along.
Cole Miller.
right?
Thank you, thank you. All right, beloved community, it's an opportunity where we get to hear from you. An aha, something that is upon your heart that you'd like to share with the spiritual community. I see a couple of hands, so we'll get to you.
Gee, thank you very much. I sure
You're
appreciate
welcome,
it.
Bruce.
First of all, this past 2 years has just been an amazing change for me because of you and what you teach and what Sonny's songs and the love you give to everybody here. And I've been coming to this church since about '99, I think. And I wasn't really, my whole life's all been about getting. It doesn't work. I didn't understand that until only just recently. And a few services ago, just kind of in passing, Reverend Christian said that the church is really about receiving. And I went, what? You know, he's trying to get. No. My mind said, no, he meant that. This is all about receiving. And I started thinking about that. It's just kind of what in my mind. And then I discovered that I was really joyful about being able to give what I can afford to both Sunday and Wednesday night services. For the first time in my life, I was doing this out of joy, and that was a real, like, wow, wait a minute, where'd that come from? That really feels good. And then I have a good buddy of mine who's been studying Joel Goldsmith for some time.
Love Joel.
I've been studying him since '99, myself, read all his books and all that good stuff, and it really changed my life. But then he said, you can go on YouTube, and on YouTube, just type in Joel Goldsmith. A lot of his tapes are on, his lectures are on that, and it's all free. You know, you used to have to pay $25 for one lesson, right? But it's all free now. Now, this is really cool because talking about receiving, and I know I'm talking a little long here, but this is, to me, it's important. So I'm going to say it. The first lesson I listened to was all about spiritual supply, which is, my life's been, you know, and I never understood this. Loved this, but never understood that. And it was very painful every time. And I was all about getting, and just about Bruce Hill, and not about what really is happening. Until I listened to his tape on spiritual supply, and he said, you have to understand that just as everything in this world is really here receiving, we're not getting. The tree's not getting. The tree is in the ground. It's whole, perfect, and complete from the time it was a little acorn. And it's just receiving. Receiving what is right for its development. And I thought, well, since God is all in all, it's got to include me.
Exactly.
No matter what I argue about that, and would want to deny that for some reason, I suddenly started looking at myself from a receiving point of view. Listening to that tape really brought it clear to me that I am just a receiver, and that this allness of God just flows through me, it's received by me, and goes out into the universe again.
Exactly.
And it's not me. There's no me here. That you can understand. There is no me sitting here, standing here talking, because I'm just part of, we all are, just part of this
Part of the
allness.
one, right.
And so it's all really coming together to one beautiful experience.
Nice.
And in the last 2 years, you have really helped me to understand more and more and more of this. I want to thank you.
You're so welcome, Bruce. Thank you. We're not here to get, we receive, and as we receive, we get to simply be, and be beautiful, and be magnificent, just like you, Nicolette.
Yay.
Hi.
Hi, I've been having a lot of tests last week and this week. So I did a social studies test, a math test, a reading test, and tomorrow we're doing another test.
Nice. How you think you do?
Well, on the math test, I got 3 A's
What?
and 2 B pluses.
High five. Amazing. You're just tapping into your intelligence, right? That universal intelligence that's available to you and everybody else. Nice job doing that. Thank you, beloved. Congratulations. Did I feel another hand that was about to come up? There it is. Okay. It was on that side, huh? Hello, beloved. Thank you.
Hi. I just want to express how much I've been getting out of coming here on Wednesday nights. Reverend Sunshine, Sunny, and all of you. And there is a special feeling from the people who gather here, and I feel like I can take it with me. I normally go on Sundays to the Center for Spiritual Living Bonita, and I will continue doing that. And I have other kinds of ideas for how to reach out and be a larger community. So maybe that's what I'm saying, is that, no matter how large the center is, we're actually part of a huge organization that we can tap into the wisdom, the intelligence, and get to feel, well, there really is only one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here on Wednesday nights with us. Last call for the microphone. Oh, yes. Yes. Did you want to make that announcement, or you want me to do it? Okay. Jenny, our beloved coordinator, who's been doing an extraordinary job, and I'm so grateful for her. She's been my right-hand woman here, is reminding me to highlight our yellow slip that's in our program tonight. We're going to be celebrating next Wednesday. So bring your favorite dessert, your favorite dish. We're going to have a potluck celebration as we close out 2014 and as we close out the revealing experience and make way for the new